Do you feel that in a time when we are more connected than ever, we are drifting away from real human connections, especially to ourselves? I do. Hi, I'm Leticia Latino, and I want to invite you to join me and my very inspiring guests in exploring ways to reconnect to your essence, to your definite purpose, to what makes you tick. Are you ready? Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Back to Basics, Reconnecting to the Essence of You. I have with me on the show someone very special. It's the third Venezuelan I'm interviewing on my show, and I'm super excited, although she is an international actress, TV personality, talk show host, author, human rights advocate, and philanthropist. Hello, Luisa Diaz to Back to Basics.
Hi, Leticia. How are you? I am so happy to be in your podcast. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, I'm very honored and humbled. And although we are both Venezuelan, I know you have been in Oscar winning films. You've done so much. You are advocating for human rights. And I just feel we're going to be able to talk about so much that I'm super excited. And I have to make sure that we don't go into 3 hours of talking, because I feel I can do that with you very easily.
Oh, thank you. And, I really love the name of your show. And I was listening to your podcast, and I love it. I love it because I do believe that right now, we are going back to basics.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And it really means a lot, because when I came up with this name, obviously it was way before this pandemic, but I guess something was calling there. And the most beautiful thing that has happened to me through the podcast is meeting people like you. I'm getting familiar with so many people out there that, besides doing what they do, which, you have a full-time job, you have your own TV show, you're an actress, and then you write books. We're going to talk about your newest book, which is called Sexy is Timeless, which is a fantastic title, by the way, too. And it really is about being confident about one's own self-worth. And of course, we're going to let you talk about it. But first, I want to know about, the beginnings. I always get so inspired by the story about your childhood, my guest's childhood, and what you were passionate about. And obviously, if that involves my beloved country of Venezuela, this is even, a great, great reward for me on this show.
Yes. Well, I grew up in Venezuela, in Sucre State. Yo soy de Carúpano. Yo soy de la costa. I am from the coast.
Wow, that's great. I'm from the city, so that makes me boring and makes her very, very exotic, by the way.
Oh, Venezuela. I miss my country. Such a beautiful country. But this is another show.
Yes,
right?
yes. We're definitely going to do one on that. It's a deal.
Yeah, this is another show. But I grew up with my grandparents in Venezuela, which I adore my grandparents. And my grandmother has 15 children.
Oh, my God.
15, plus she raised me. So I was the child number 16.
Wow, that is amazing.
Can you believe it? And so I grew up and with a lot of uncles and aunties, and I was the baby. I grew up, one of my favorite holiday was Christmas, because everybody comes to my grandmother's home and we all cook and we drink wine. And it was just such a beautiful, beautiful experience, beautiful memories. And we put music. My grandmother was the first one to start dancing. And we just, the family, my uncles, they love music, so they start playing Los Aguinaldos. ¿Te acuerdas?
Yeah. It's like our carols, like our Christmas carols, a little bit more upbeat.
Yes. So I had these beautiful memories, and due to that beautiful memories, I have now that I am married, I create my own Christmas, trying to make it a little bit my childhood memories. But I can tell you about my childhood. I was a child that loved to read.
Mhm.
I was just love to read for no reason. I remember that my grandmother were always find me reading a book. I remember that I guess my favorite book was a geographic dictionary. And it was so like a little bit like, when you use a book so much and they have all these notes where the countries that I want to visit.
Mhm.
I was so fascinated by other countries, other cultures. And also, one of the books I was so fascinated by was Connie Mendes. ¿Te acuerdas de Connie Mendes?
Yes, yes. Huh?
Yes, I love to read about Connie Mendes. And I wanted to, for some reason, I wanted to learn, to grow. And I always thought that was more out there for me. I always felt like I come from a huge family, and I was the first one to go to college, the first one to graduate, the first one to move to another country, the first one that I was so bored, but I just felt that I was something bigger and better, and I want to learn. I wanted to see what that was. When I was in school, I remember that when a the teachers, they will always choose me when there was someone to speak in front of the class or for un acto nacional, international. They will always choose me for all these little events that the school has. They will always say, oh, we need someone to speak, Luisa. And I was like, I was so upset. I was like, why they always choose me? I don't want to do it.
Uh-huh. They already had seen something. They had already identified your strength.
Yes, and I was scared, upset, and I go to my grandmother. Like I was maybe like 8 years old, and I was to my grandmother. It's like, why they always choose me? I don't want to speak, and in front of the class. But yes, and I think if they did so that, and that has been my passion. That has been my true passion is being a TV host, speaking in front of people. I won my first beauty pageant. You know, we are all doing beauty pageants in Venezuela, and I did several
Well,
beauty
sorry,
pageants.
sorry. Let me say, we are not all doing. I would have never been able to do a beauty pageant. You're gorgeous and beautiful, and yes, we have amazing and beautiful women in Venezuela. But don't take credit away because no, we cannot all do beauty pageants.
Well, I did. My first beauty pageant was like I was 8 years old. I won my first beauty pageant, and then I went to do all the like 10 other different pageants. And so yeah, I was, and I even had the honor to represent Venezuela in an international pageant and Mrs. Globe.
Which
So
is huge. I mean, as a fellow Venezuelan, I feel honored to have you on my show because to give some perspective to people. I mean, people know that we have a lot of beauty queens, but even as little girls, I remember me, my sister, and my mom in, every international pageant like Miss Venezuela International, Miss World, Miss Universe. We would sit in front of the TV with a little notebook and we would keep track of the scores of each participant to see where Venezuela was in the pageant, and it was a big affair for us. So this is something that
I
we
know.
follow.
It was, and now we have so many different pageants. But the pageant for us, I remember that was different than now it is right now, because like the beauty queen in Venezuela, we really get prepared not only from the outside but in the inside, because you need to be able to have an education, you need to be able to know how to answer every question, because you are an ambassador, you are representing an organization, you are representing yourself, and when you go international you are representing a country. So they really give you, I can talk only for myself. I think in my training, it really helped me in my life and helped me with my confidence. And so, but things are changing right now. But that was my beautiful experience about passion. I can tell you, my passion always has been being in front of the camera, darling. I think that has been mostly my passion, and I have been so blessed that I always has been doing what I love to do.
And that is fantastic. That's why you make a perfect guest for this podcast because, one of my purposes with it is I always say that I like to prove the impossible possible. And people that have heard the podcast knows that I try to give examples. And the one I always give is, I met my husband on Match.com because that 15
Oh,
years ago seems pretty impossible. And yet it happened, So for you and the stigma, unfortunately, that a lot of times there's around, oh, how am I gonna be a beauty queen? What I'm gonna do with life if I let my daughter be that? And then you have done so much with your life, and you created such a powerful career, and you have a platform in which you're advocating, which we're gonna talk about, domestic violence and really human rights, that
yeah.
you prove that something that seems impossible is indeed possible if you pursue your passion.
Totally. And I come from very humble beginnings, Leticia. And so I have worked very hard, and I do. But my work, it has been improving myself. I do believe that it is not your mother's fault, where you coming from fault. It is what you can do with yourself. I totally believe that. And I do believe that if I didn't have the opportunities, I go and find those opportunities, because we cannot spend our life blaming someone else for the things that we want in our life. So for some reason, Leticia, I understood this very early in my life. And I think one of the reasons I understood this was because I always was fascinated about learning about who I was. And one of the books that I used to read, as I mentioned before, was Connie Mendes, that they really made you to look into yourself, made look to look in that the power lies within you and nobody else. And then I tried to understand that since I was it was as early like maybe like 13 years old, and that's what it really helped me and to be who I am today, to accomplish the things I have accomplished. And I've been being really fascinated by I'm fascinated by the brain. I'm fascinated by our mind. I'm fascinated that we human beings are absolutely do not appreciate that the truly strength it is within us. And if we really pay a little bit more attention, and I think it will do so much better. We human beings, because we have so much power. So one of the things that I learned was that our thoughts, our thoughts can be our worst enemy. It can be really our worst enemy. And one of the things that we can do is to become aware of our thoughts. And when you trying to really understand that, then it's like you become like a little policeman in your own head, in your own brain. And it's not easy to do, Leticia. It's not totally easy to do. It is extremely difficult because, as you know, it is the hardest thing is to look into ourselves and to improve ourselves, because it's very easy to blame someone else for our mistakes. It's very easy to tell the world that I didn't do this or I cannot do this because somebody else didn't allow me to. It's very, very easy to do that. But the hardest thing is to look into yourself and say, hey, listen, it's not it. Be careful with your thoughts. become aware, become the policeman, and start seeing, wait a minute, I'm being a judgmental human being right now. That's not good to be my true potential. You know, what do I'm doing? Do I'm taking time to think about before I speak? So all the things I learn, and I even learning, I am still learning because you never stop learning. I never want to stop learning. And one another books that I'm reading, which I totally recommend. I love Dr. Chopra.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Deepak
Oh
Chopra.
my,
Yeah.
yes, Deepak Chopra. I love him. And I'm sure, darling, you've read the seven spiritual laws of success.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm even watching him live. He's going live a lot during this pandemic on LinkedIn and Facebook. So I'm actually find myself cooking while I listen to Deepak
Oh
Chopra.
my God. Yes, and me too. Me too. I do the trying to do every day. I try to go back to do meditation. So believe it or not, I know we have been through such a difficult time right now with the pandemic. But the silver lining of the pandemic is to really go back to basic.
I like that.
Yes, go back to basic, darling. And what I mean, go back to basic, go back to your truly self. What is it truly important to you? Family, your loved one. That's what is it truly important. And yourself. Get to know yourself. Maybe you know how many people are doing a job that they hate, right? So it's like a lot of people during this pandemic, they start shifting, their passion. Now they have a lot of people, they are business owners. They come out with some ideas, they come out with some following their passion, they have a business online. So it has been like a shift to go back to basic. And I think that had been the silver lining of all these really, you know, lesson. I do not even know. I say, what God want us to learn from all of this? What humanity need to learn? Are we really running away so much from humanity, from each other, that God has to send us such a test that strong for us to really wake up? So I think about all of this. So I know everybody doesn't believe in God, but I do believe in God. I think it was our God in my life, I would not be able to be the woman that I am, because I came to this country alone. I didn't have no families and no friends.
And how old were you? Sorry, Luisa, because I think that's great to take us into your life in the US. How old were you when you moved?
Well, I was on my 20s.
Okay, in your 20s. So you
Yeah.
were already, a young woman.
Yes, I was in my 20s. And it was, I didn't know how to speak English, darling. So it was the hardest challenge I ever faced in my life, going to college and learning English at the same time.
Yeah, that
And
is tough.
it was so tough. And I can say to you that I used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I used to make my own, like cassette, because it was cassette by then.
Like a tape, your own. You made your own tape about in English.
Vocabularios for the vocabulary, the
Uh-huh.
pronunciation, and all of that, trying to learn English. I remember that I used to sit on those books and cry because I couldn't understand. And my first class, and that's what I totally believe in kindness. In my first class, I never forget this professor Luciano, Dr. Luciano. She was my teacher, my math teacher, and I just hear her, and I just hear a noise. I was like, oh my gosh, a noise, because I couldn't understand anything. But I was so focused and studied so hard. And I took advantage of the teacher's hours. I took advantage of any time that the teacher have. I was the first one to be there. I think the teacher will look at me and run. I said, "Oh my God, Luisa is coming here again." Because I was that committed. I was hungry. I want to learn. I was not going to give up. So I started so hard. And one day we have a quiz, and she said, the teacher said, "Oh, we have a quiz." I was like, "Oh my God," I almost have a panic attack. And then she said, "Don't, no, no, don't go, Luisa. It's a quiz. It's only 5 questions." So I knew it because, math is very universal, and I knew it, and I studied every single day. So, but I have to read in Spanish, translate in English, then trying to find out the meaning, when you're doing calculus and statistics, it's not very easy. So,
Yeah.
so I said, so I was able to answer only one question. And the teacher said, "Okay, time up. Everybody give the test." And I was like, "No, no." And she said, "Luisa, give me your test." And I said, "No, no, I didn't finish." And she said, "It's okay. Give me your test." So I give the test, and I get out of the classroom, and I went outside, and I was crying. And I felt I was going to have a heart attack. I felt like, "Oh my God, we're not going to be able to do this." And, like you feel like sometimes you cannot be able to do things. I felt like that. And I felt, "Oh my God." And this teacher, she came out and she said to me, "Luisa, are you okay?" So when she said, "Are you okay?" I start crying. "Oh, and, oh, I know how to answer. I just need a little bit time, please." And she saw, I think she saw the desperation on me and my eyes. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. And then she gave me a hug. Oh my God. When she gave me a hug, I cried on her shoulder. And she said to me, "Luisa, I know you're working so hard. Don't worry. Do you know that you have here here in the university, there is a lounge for international students, and you can take your test there, and you can take all the time. So I'm going to put your test there." Oh my God, I didn't know about that. I didn't,
Wow. I didn't know about
I
that. I
didn't
wonder
know,
if my university had that because I struggled on my first test with exactly the same
right?
thing.
Oh my God, I didn't. And so what I'm sharing with you, this story, is that act of kindness. It stayed with me forever. And because that teacher give me, she really told me, like, "You can do this, Luisa. I see you working so hard." You know, each I stick, and I never stop. And I graduated with a bachelor in business, was in concentration in international marketing, and it was the happiest day of my life when I finished
That
school.
is amazing. Yeah, that it's amazing, and more amazing is that everywhere in all the material I read, you're right. You mentioned that you celebrate kindness and you're very aware and mindful of acts of
Mhm.
kindness, and I think that's part of where we have gotten lost is in that we are letting our brain rule rather than our heart.
Oh,
And when we are motivated by the brain, not that it's a bad thing, it's a powerful tool, but we're completely disregarding our hearts in everything we're doing.
Tot- Totalmente. I totally agree with you. And I do believe I celebrate kindness. My organization is called Angels that Empower Other Angels with Broken Wings through the gift of love. I do believe in kindness. I have experience in my life, Leticia. I have experienced a snowball of kindness. Being here in my, along with our family is not easy, and but I always have been blessed. And maybe that's because my set of mind, maybe because I have worked on myself, and I still working on myself, that the people that I have drawn into my life, I have been very blessed. I always encounter amazing people in my life, amazing people in my life. And I think that's something that, when people said, "Oh, there is not good people in the world." And I say, that's not true. That's not true. And that's what I do. Like, when I start my first event of Mi Amor Gala, that is the name of my organization. So
Yes, we want to hear more about
yes,
that.
yes. So I start when I was my time to give back to the community. So I was in LA. I was living in Los Angeles. But before moving to Los Angeles, I know we only have 40 minutes, but before moving to Los Angeles, I was in North Carolina, where I had the first all Spanish language television show for the Latin community, which that was a really a challenge as well. And I did it pure passion. I just want to provide information to the Latin community. And I went to the American network and I said, I would like to do a television show in your network. And they looked at me like I was crazy. And, and they said, and what language you going to speak? And I said, in Spanish. And I said, they said, don't you know that we speak English in this network? Why should I have a Spanish show in my network? And I said, well, because the Latino population, the buying power is $8.8 billion. Would you like to have a slice of the pie? I had their
Mhm.
attention, and I got my show at 5:30 in the morning. They called me one time from ABC affiliated. They called and they said, well, Luisa, we have a slot at 5:30 in the morning. I take it. I say, I take it. I take it. I take it. And and yeah, I say,
Anytime.
I take it. And they say, okay, are you ready to start next week? I said, oh, sure, sure, sure.
And I'm sure you had a lot of things to take
Yeah,
care
I
of.
said, sure. I said, do you have your guests? Do you have everything? Oh, sure. Yeah, I have everything. So I'll be there. Okay, I'll be there. 10 o'clock. I'll be there. Yeah. I have 2 days to put everything together. I put my phone down and say, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then so I went out. I was so passionate about it that my first um how you say, my first advertisement was Time Warner Cable. I sold that show to Time Warner Cable to put a commercial spot in my show at 5:30 in the morning that doesn't exist yet for $500. I never forget that.
Wow. Well, and here I have to, say break, because first thing, you just prove you made the impossible possible. To me, when you tell that story, is what I always say. I like those stories about the impossible. Like, never would you get a show and it's in Spanish and you're going to an American network. You know how many people would say she's crazy. She would
Oh,
never
I
get it
got it.
done.
I got that. I got that. Yes.
And then you got it solved. But those are the stories I love, because so many people listening to us out there in this podcast, sometimes they have a great idea and they say, yeah, but really, how, what are the chances that that's going to happen? And they convince themselves that it's not going to happen. So every time I have a guest that, like you, so passionate, you're convinced you didn't have everything you needed at that moment, but you made it happen. And people think they have to have everything ready, everything
No,
perfect, so that their idea can fly. And it doesn't work
no,
like
it
that.
doesn't work that way at all. And you really figure, and this is my first show I'm producing, my first show I'm hosting, that is only me. This is my first, I have to produce, I have to host, I have to put everything together. So when they say yes, I figure it out on the way. And to be honest, Leticia, that show becomes so popular at 5:30 in the morning that I was having a rating of 1.1. So the network comes to me, ABC affiliated, he comes to me and says, Luisa, do you know that your rating is 1.1? I have no idea. I said, okay. And okay, gracias. And then they are like, do you not know what that means? I said, yeah, what does it mean? You got 1 million and plus people watching your show.
Wow, that's
And I
amazing.
say, oh my God. So then they give me a better time slot at 10 o'clock in the morning. So,
Oh,
yeah. So what I
I'm sure you like that.
yes, and I'm having and I'm owning the show, and because I sell my own commercials and all this, I have to figure it out all of that. So McDonald's was one of my big sponsors. So now with no money, ceremony of everything, I'm making like $30 to $40,000 per show. And
Wow. That's
right,
amazing.
and I was like, oh my gosh. So and then become saying in three other different states. So anyway, I wanted to share you that story before I go to LA, but that was a really a great story. And
It's a great story. I love it because it's really the story that makes the, that conviction that you had is, I'm sure, what propelled everything else. And I have to say, I mean, you're very humble, but anybody, and there's going to be, of course, the links to Luisa's page. I mean, she has a beautiful webpage. I mean, and you interviewed quite a bit set of personalities. I mean, you went to LA and you definitely are living the celebrity world out there, being in big movies. So how was that LA experience?
thank you. Well, LA experience was, the Hollywood experience. It was great. And I always talk when I go to speak, I always said, if you are interested in the entertainment industry, you need to be at peace with the word no. you,
Yeah,
you,
I can
yeah,
see
you need to
that.
be at peace with the word no. And when I arrived to NLA, that was another experience. No family, no friends. So I want to submit my resume. I want to submit my picture to different agency. And in the agency, in the book, that says, do not submit yourself unless you are going to be referred by someone. And I said, who's going to refer me? I have, I just got here. I do not know nobody. Anyway, I'm going to send it. And I sent 100, I don't forget, 150 envelopes with my resume and my picture and my show and all of that. I did it by hand by then. So 150, and I got two phone calls, and yeah,
Well,
I got two phone calls, and I got my agency, and from that I started going to auditions. I did all of that. Then I work in Silver Lining Playbook with Jennifer Lawrence, Bradley Cooper.
yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
picture on your webpage.
yeah.
Great picture.
And I work with in the fighter with Mark Wahlberg as well and Robert De Niro. So I got my taste of the Hollywood, and I did other ones, independent film as well, and I did other shows. So when I have my taste of in the Hollywood scene, and it was fun. It was fun. Then I wanted to create more. I want to be more in control of my career, because unfortunately, in the entertainment industry, you are not in control, because you never know. You never know what's going to happen, right? So I wanted to be more in control. And I still do acting and all of that, and I still have an agent. So I decided I want to give back. I wanted to create an organization. And that's when I created Mi Amor Gala. And I say I wanted to create it for, I love organizing events. I love glams events, beautiful events. So, and I already create in LA a circle of people, a circle of friends, because I used to network a lot. Because networking, we have to put ourselves out there. So that organization, I wanted to do it for domestic violence survivors. And the reason, I'm sure you want to know the story, why I was passionate about, domestic violence survivors. And one of the reasons is because, in Venezuela, most in Latin countries, abuse is sometimes can be seen, it's like normal.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is the truth. So I saw my grandfather really, really abusing my grandmother when I was like 5 years old. And that stuck with me forever, but I didn't know how much. So imagine how bad the abuse was, Leticia, that my grandmother was 15 children, no education, no job. She left my grandfather and never looked back. Imagine that.
Wow.
Imagine how
Wow,
bad
that's
was it.
amazing.
So that sometimes we have to sleep on the street. So with that, I partner with an organization with domestic that do an amazing work for domestic violence survivors, and they are not a shelter, they have a program, because I do believe in opportunities. I do believe in opportunity. I do believe in a new chapter in your life. So I love this organization for the work that they are doing and the opportunities they are offering to these amazing ladies. So I said, I wanted to do this event and I wanted to raise money for your organization. So they love me. I created my first event, and then I created the Runway of Hope. That is an empowerment runway where I work with the domestic violence survivors, and I really help them to build their self-esteem. Because,
Mhm.
most of the women, they think they are not beautiful, they are not worthy. It's because the abuser know how to break you down. They really know how to break your
Hmm.
self-esteem. So I talk to the ladies trying to build the self-esteem, and then we do the wrong way. Oh my God, Leticia, when I meet the ladies, they are like, sí, como bien tímidas, que no quieren caminar y que no saben cómo caminar. Cuando termino con ellas solamente 2 días, en 2 days, oh my gosh, ¿cómo estás viendo una Miss Venezuela?
Yeah, from very shy
Easy.
to
And
Miss
I
Venezuela.
love the confidence that they project in the wrong way, because when they walk the wrong way of hope, I said to them, this is not a regular runway. This is not a regular fashion show. Because they feel I'm not like, I'm ugly, I'm not pretty, I'm not a model. They say, no, 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 no. This is better, because this is a runway of hope, of second chances. When you are walking that wrong way, I want you to tell yourself, nobody's going to hit me again. Nobody's going to put me down again. I am beautiful. I am worthy. Oh my God, Leticia, I see the light in their eyes coming alive. And this lady walked the wrong way, so powerful. And that's what they're thinking at that moment. It's so beautiful. And I get so inspired. And I love inspiring these women. Oh my God, I love it. And that made me tick.
Wow. I'm telling you, I'm like, wow, this, and it sounds to me from all the exciting things you've been doing, but, coming from a beauty queen, someone that has, done that, I can only imagine what these women feel when they have you empowering them and teaching them and supporting them, how rewarding that must feel.
Oh, it is so beautiful. And it's really rewarded to me as well, Leticia. I have a great joy to, and this is when you find that is your true passion. When you do something that you can do it for free, and you just give your time with so much love without asking nothing, and without seeing how many hours you are doing it, that means that is your passion.
Yeah, you're moving with heart. Going back to the idea of the heart and the brain, your intention is really driven by your heart and by kindness and by doing good and by generosity. So all you're doing, it's really, that gets back at you. Someone in this show said it's not about what you give, it's about what you get back.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, and I have a great, great, great satisfaction with my gala. And I hope this year we are not having it. So Leticia, you have to come for next year to our beautiful gala that we just did it last year here. So it's 6 year. I already have with this organization 6 years, and we had this amazing event here in Manhattan. We have
Okay,
like
well,
200 people. It was such a beautiful gala. We raised a lot of money for the nonprofit. And I'm
Sounds like I'm gonna be there. I was gonna say I don't know where here is, but count me in. And then you say Manhattan, and I'm like, oh well, for sure, count me in.
yes, yes, yes. And because of COVID, we are not doing the event this year, but next year, God willing, things gets better. So we are going to have. It's going to be our 8th year.
I love it. I love your runway of hope.
Yes,
And I know that you're also quite busy because you've written a couple of books, but your latest book is called Sexy is Timeless.
yes. Well,
And I think it's such a great title. I know I said it, but I like it. So I want to know more about that.
okay. Well, sex is timeless. I think it's first of all, sexy. The word sexy, it has been misunderstood. The word, because I think sexy is something that is appealing. So sexy is timeless. It's about I focus about redefining what is sexy in this new era of women empowerment. And the woman empowerment right now, I do believe she is sexy because she is confident, because she's knowledgeable, she have a career, because she's kind, because she really take care of herself. Because I do believe a woman can be feminine and run a multi-million-dollar business looking fabulous in high heels and lipstick. I do believe that. And I do believe in embracing individuality. I do believe in laughter and do not taking yourself so seriously. So all these assets, the 10 sexy assets that lie within you, that have nothing to do with physicality. Don't get me wrong. I like to look fabulous, Leticia.
I think we all do. We all do. We all try to look as good as we can with what we've been given.
Yes, we all like to look fabulous and we like to take care of ourselves, but it goes beyond that. And the true, sexy is timeless because confidence, it gets better with age, knowledge, kindness. So all these assets that lie within you, in embracing who you are, accepting who you are, celebrating that you are a woman, celebrating that you are worthy. So it goes better. It is timeless. So that's what the name is called. Sex is timeless, about the 10 timeless sexy assets that lie within you. And you can find it in Amazon, and you can find it in my website, luisadiaz.com. So yeah, this is the book, and I wish that you can read it, Leticia.
I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it because, when we first talked in preparation for this interview, we said we have so much in common. And I don't know if you saw, but I also co-author a book called Women in Business Leading the Way. And the cover is a pink high heel.
I love it.
Yes. And it's funny because you're saying this thing, and I've said it on the podcast already, but when they presented the cover to me, I was like even a little bit upset. I'm like, what is this? This is such a cliche, a pink shoe. And then, I co-author with 13 other CEOs. And then we all realized we are all badass women, excusing the word. We are powerful. We are CEOs, but we like to look great. We are feminine. So put the pink shoe in there and let's wear pink shoes every time we promote the book. So now we became the Pink Shoe Sisterhood.
Love it. I love it.
And you can be an honorary member because you definitely, everything you said really aligns with that purpose.
Wonderful. I would love to be a member. And I do believe in our own power, Leticia. I do believe in that our power lie in being a woman. That's what lie our power. Not trying to be a man. No, because we are stronger enough like a man. We have that inner strength. We don't have the physical strength, but we have the inner strength. I don't want to have the physical strength as a man. I want to have the inner strength as a man. And we are smart. We are strong. We are a businesswoman. We can run a multi-million-dollar business, yet celebrating who we are. That's what I believe.
Wow, that's amazing. I couldn't agree more. It's definitely a great time to be a woman. And I will have you on this show again anytime you want because you're such an inspiring individual that also with so much nuggets of wisdom. I normally write a page of notes for all my guests as they talk, and I'm on my second page with you so that you know. So Luisa, on closing, I want to also give you, the opportunity to, I know you've been very forward into what makes you tick, what you're excited about. Is there anything in the future, anything that you want to share in closing of what your next projects are, what you're excited about at this point?
Well, I am very excited about my new show. It's called Sexy Stylist Talk, that was born with from my book, Sexy Stylist. I have a partner. We are three ladies, amazing, amazing ladies, which I wanted to really tell you about them because they are my friends. One of my co-hosts, her name is Samantha Besudo Drucker. She's a lifestyle genie and she's a co-host of Love and Design. She does any renovation. She has a renovation series and she transforms urban spaces with her husband, who is an architect, Jeffrey Drucker. So, and also she's an author and she has her book in 90 Days to Husband Number 2.
Oh, wow. That sounds interesting.
Yes, it's a very, very fun book. And her website is Love and Design Project. And my other co-host is Dilena. Dilena is a media personality, Dilena Dixon, and she's the editor-in-chief of Gala's Diva Girls Daily. It's a magazine all about celebrities. So she's a multicultural lifestyle. It's a multicultural lifestyle site. She also is the creator of the comedy series All About Eve, based on her real life experience as a celebrity and journalist. So we have this show called Sexy Style. This is my fabulous co-host. And we always invite one guest, a special guest. And tomorrow, every Wednesday, live on Facebook at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So tomorrow we have Carol Maraj, that is Nicki Minaj's mother.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Nicki Minaj's mother is going to be with us. And I met her before at an event where we both were giving an award. We received an award for the work that we do with domestic violence survivor, because she has an organization as well where she's working with helping domestic violence survivor, because she's a survivor as well. So, and she also came to Mi Amor Gala for my event. So I am so excited about my show.
That should be great. And on Facebook, under which name should people look on Facebook? Luisa Diaz?
Luisa Diaz TV is live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Luisa Diaz TV. So I would love for invite everybody to watch it. It's usually a very the style is like sitting with girlfriends and having a cocktail and talking about different things in life. And tomorrow,
that sounds amazing.
Tomorrow we are going to talk about passion, about confidence. So it's going to be, and also we wanted to ask Carol Maraj, we want to ask her how she feels about being a grandmother, since Nicki Minaj is pregnant right now.
She's pregnant. Yeah, I read that.
She's
exciting.
Pregnant. So we wanted to ask that. And I don't know if she's going to share it's a boy or it's a girl. I don't think so. You never know.
You never know. Feed her some extra mojitos or whatever it is that you're gonna drink.
It's a Zoom. We are in Zoom, because of technology, because social distancing. So we have the show on Zoom.
Okay, great. This is awesome. Well, this is definitely something I will check out. I will definitely follow and promote you. And I'm crossing my fingers. I'm pretty sure that someday, I can already say I interview her, but I'd be so proud that you've been on Back to Basics. And I'm pretty sure that hopefully we'll have you here again.
Oh, I would love to. I would definitely love to. And we have so many other projects to talk about you. It's only, as you said, we cannot spend the whole 3 hours here.
We'll break it up and we make it more interesting. And for sure, we'll have an episode about our beloved Venezuela. I want to say Viva Venezuela. And I'm very, very proud to have fellow Venezuelans like you that are, as you said, ambassadors for our country. We're an amazing country with amazing people. And it's really great to see what we are achieving out in the world.
Yes, and que vivan las arepas.
Eso, arepita.
And also, Leticia, I just finished writing my second book, which when it's out, we can talk about the book. But it is a sequence of sexy stylists. So how to bring those 10 sexy assets that lie within you into your relationship so you don't have to lose who you are.
Oh, okay. We'll do one show on that one. Sounds like a lot of people would appreciate that. Relationships and how to bring the sexy back, I think, is always a popular subject.
How to use the sexy stylist assets that lie within you, so without losing who you are. Because usually sometimes we women get married or are in a relationship and we lose who we are. We lose our standards. We lose our boundaries. So I talk about the importance of having your standards and boundaries, girls. It's extremely important. And it's very important to raise those, to let know the other person that you have a standard and to raise your boundaries.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds definitely very, very interesting. And I invite everybody to follow you on social media. What's your handle if you want to share it?
Yes, Luisa Diaz TV is in Instagram, Luisa Diaz TV, the same Twitter, the same Facebook, Luisa Diaz TV.
Awesome. Well, Luisa, thank you so much. Best of luck, and we'll follow your successes.
Gracias, Leticia. Muchísimas gracias. Besitos.
Gracias a ti.
Stay
Un beso.
sexy and timeless.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And until the next time.